Happy Friday. We've almost made it to the weekend. I want to look at Luke chapter 9, continuing just the verses after yesterday, starting with the feeding of the 5,000, starting with verse 10, they go through 17. Then the apostles returned and they reported to Jesus what they had done. And then he took them with him, and they withdrew by themselves to a town called Bethsaida. But the crowds learned about it, and they followed him. He welcomed them and spoke to them about the kingdom of God, and healed those who needed healing. Late in the afternoon, the 12 came to him and said, "Send away the crowd, so they can go into the surrounding villages and countryside and find food and lodging," because they were in a remote place, the wilderness. He replied, "Give them something to eat." They answered, "We only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Unless we go and buy food for all of this crowd." About 5,000 men were there. But he said to his disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." The disciples did so, and everyone sat down, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up into heaven, he gave thanks and broke them. Then he gave them to the disciples to distribute to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. When I was preparing and reading over this, you can tell the ministry of Christ is attractional. That who he is and the message that he has, people want to see. And so he comes, or people come, and they come in mass. The 5,000 men that it tells us were there didn't include the women and children that both Matthew and John tell us about. It's interesting to me, and I inserted a word in reading the scriptures. It says that they moved away from town, that they moved into the wilderness. When I hear that word about Jesus feeding people, I think very quickly, and many Jewish people or the children of Israel would have thought when they heard this. They would have heard the story of God providing the manna, the quail, feeding the Israelites, God's chosen people, when they were in the wilderness, wandering and waiting. The other thing that I'm always amazed at when I reread this story is the amount of extra food that was done. It says that they picked up 12 baskets of food. That's more than they started with, by the way. And that everybody ate all that they have. I'm mindful that when I think about that, of God's grace in abundance. He doesn't give us just a little bit. He gives us in abundance the grace we need, the love we need. Sometimes I think we may struggle to see it and accept it, but God gives us in abundance. Jesus said in John 6, he said, "I am the bread of life." John chapter 4, he says, "I give you the drink of living water, and I'll give it to anybody who wants it, and I'll give it freely, because I give you life so that you may have it more abundantly." I wonder how much we need to sit back and bask and be thankful and grateful for God's abundance in his giving and in his blessings. Ponder that this weekend as you go about his grace and his abundance. A blessing we all can enjoy. Hope you have a great Friday and weekend. Hope that you'll be somewhere on a campus soon on Sunday. God bless. Peace.